Hello, all you players at home. I am Charlotte, and this is
Rebekah.
And we are going to review today White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen as a bit of a double header of a movie with a very similar premise.
We have contact from inside the White House.
Identify yourself.
309er.
Jesus, Banning?
I'm in the White House. They've taken the building and they're holding hostages,
Including my daughter.
We thought we'd take this on and do a bit of an analysis from a storytelling perspective. So, which would you argue is the better film?
Well, obviously, it would be White House Down, a much more entertaining film.
Indeed.
Hands down.
Yes. And where do you think that difference in entertainment value comes in?
Better script, better story, better characters, better payoffs.
Yeah. What do you think one of the key differences was between these two films?
Channing Tatum takes his shirt off.
Yes, indeed. The hero is boring. Boring.
Yes, he is boring.
Boring.
He is boring because he has all of his clothes on the whole time.
This sort of movie tends to call for the muscle shirt.
It does.
At least.
It does. Predator.
Or a wife beater, at least.
Exactly.
Which is, in PC terms, known as a Bond singlet in Australia.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce Willis did it.
Schwarzenegger.
Van Damme. Stallone, I'm sure.
Many times.
Many times.
Didn't want to see
And
it.
Channing Tatum in White House Down. But not Jared Butler in Olympus Has Fallen.
Come on, Mike. Looks like you failed again, Mike.
I'd rather have character development over
Yeah,
man-titty.
and we're saying that Olympus Has Fallen lacked both.
Yes.
It
Which
not
was a double fail.
It not only did not get the action hero into his shirt sleeves, but more to the point, he
Yeah.
was a boring character.
Yeah, I would have forgiven anything if it had just been a bit more engaging.
Yeah. No, he needed to be engaging. He needed to be better set up
Yeah.
and
Agreed.
have agency in the story.
Looks like you failed again, Mike.
Channing Tatum's character, he has to sort of make a lot of decisions for himself. But Jared Butler's character, on the other hand,
He has what I refer to as the limp dick moment. And that's basically where he's sitting there, poised for action, and he says on the phone,
Sir, I'm here. Use me.
dude, really?
You can't think for yourself.
You can't think for yourself. That's right. And so Channing Tatum in White House Down, he's in that kind of film, much like the original Die Hard, where he's like the ordinary guy, you know. Well,
He's the underdog.
He's down on his luck. He's got a poor relation. He's got a broken relationship. He's got a daughter who doesn't, sort of respect him very much.
No
He's just
respect.
missed out on his job. And so he's this ordinary guy in a very extraordinary situation. He's
Right.
got some base level skills though.
Yep.
And that sort of sees him through. Jared Butler's character, on the other hand, he's really the extraordinary man. You know, he's the Secret Service guy. He's
Haunted
got
by the past.
all dem skills.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he acts as though, he's under command the whole time. It's just so unengaging.
Big turn off.
Yeah. We both noted the enormous amount of time in Olympus Has Fallen that's spent with the non-protagonist characters.
Who?
We don't spend a lot of time with Jared Butler's character.
No. Well, that's why you wonder who the hero is in the story, because it's Gerard Butler, but he's not really driving the plot forward. And then there's the president, and he's just giving the terrorists what they want.
Yeah, we have the
And then
agents,
it's
and we
the
have
Morgan
the
Freeman
newsroom.
asking for a cup of coffee, and it's like,
Yeah.
And that whereas with Channing Tatum, he was clearly driving the action forward. And while the president was in the story, it was clearly Channing Tatum had been set up definitively as the hero, the underdog looking for that chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
And he had, again, we echo back to the original Die Hard in that he has the problem of being taken seriously by
Yeah.
his connections to the outside world. which is not something that Banning suffers from at any time.
Yeah.
Actually, the payoffs were something that I was quite surprised about because there's a number of things in this film, spoilers by the way, that you sort of almost don't see coming and expect in a movie that was quite goofy to have setups and payoffs. So, you know, there was the whole flag twirling thing, which you think is a little bit of a throwaway, but it ends up being quite, you know, well, not important, but it pays off in the end. And Olympus Has Fallen didn't really have anything like that.
We had a useless moppet.
Talk about the difference in the child character, because there's one in both films. So what's your take on this?
Okay, so Gerard Butler's movie, the child served no purpose. You could have taken him out. And that's when you know in your story, when you're writing, if a subplot is irrelevant, if you take it out and there's just, the story's just the same, why did you have it there in the first place?
Yeah. I actually think it was a very strange subplot. It was almost there purely to act as a device to try and paint our character, our main character, and then to give him something to do in the middle of the film to fill in time. And then the kid sort of gets evacuated out of the action without any stakes having been attached to him whatsoever.
Glad that's over.
I know. Well, let's now get on with the story. We've only got 2 minutes to go.
Yeah,
Lucky.
yeah.
Yeah. So I that was really appalling. I
thought it was pretty bad.
Whereas White House Down, on the other hand,
Payoff.
I mean, she had a bit of gumption.
I liked her.
Yeah, she had some, I think, reasonably realistic reactions to the utterly unbelievable kind of situation she was in. I thought it was all right.
I liked it.
Yeah. So, if we were going to fix Olympus Has Fallen, given the fact that we concur,
I know.
broadly.
First up, as soon as the action goes down, for some reason, he has to take his shirt off. That would have engaged me for at least another 15 minutes.
15 minutes? Wow, that's generous. I would have gone 15 seconds.
Yeah, well, be like, oh, look at that.
Where the movie lost me was in that first scene with him and his wife in the kitchen.
Oh, God.
And she's like...
I'm going to
the barbecue.
Something about a barbecue.
And she's going on and on at him.
I am so bored right now.
And you kind of, in a way, sympathise with him because you can... he's a man who's got his mind on the job.
Man's man.
He's haunted by the past.
Haunted by the past.
Why should he be paying any attention to this barbecue thing?
Who cares?
So, do we agree that the wife character could have gone?
She could have gone. You could have replaced her with, he should have woken up in a pile of vomit with a hooker, in the bed next to him, showing,
I'm late
classic.
for work.
Yeah, classic. He is a broken man. And then we build him up.
You compare the original Die Hard film with Bruce Willis, and the problems that he had in his relationship were much more subtly conveyed in the initial scenes. And it gave you enough to see his emotional connection to his wife and the situation and how conflicted he was about it. Gerard Butler in Olympus Has Fallen, you just get nothing. You get the, I'm bored lady, I got to get to work, And I could have maybe stood for it if in the end somehow, and I don't know how, the terrorists get her.
I was waiting for
I was waiting for some connection.
Nothing happened.
Just like the
Nothing
Moppet.
happened.
Nothing happened. So we cut the wife's
You could cut the wife, cut the Moppet, take his clothes off.
What about...
Make the president less of a pussy.
Give it to him, Joe.
He totally wimps out.
Wimps out. It was so lame.
I mean, no heroic moment at all. Maybe it's just Aaron Eckhart's face. I don't know what it is, because I really loved him in things like Thank You for Smoking.
He is a great actor.
He's great, but in this I just couldn't believe
Give
him
the
in the role.
codes.
Give him the codes.
Oh, lipstick moment.
Yes.
Oh.
Compare that to the scene at the end of White House Down.
Yeah.
The exact same thing happens.
Oh, yeah.
You remember?
Sort of.
How about now?
I can't open this for him. if I do, millions of people gonna die. You understand?
That's what you do.
Presidential moment. It's like, yeah, exactly.
Right. Character acting the way they should. I know how else you'd fix it. What's the name of the bad guy in Die Hard?
Hans Gruber.
Yeah, right? He'd be the villain. If you had a villain like that, that would uplift that movie so much more. Other than the Koreans. No personality. I like a villain with personality.
Yeah, well, no one's going to beat Alan Rickman, really, and a bunch of Germans. But actually, on another point on that is that the bad guys in White House Down had a much more intelligent way of getting in.
Exactly.
And it comes back to what we were saying earlier about setups and payoffs, is that there was an internal logic to what had happened. And, and then the senator or the congressman, the speaker, who's the ultimate betrayer at the end.
We'll compare that to the speaker in Gerard Butler movie, Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
Fast asleep.
Oh, God, he was, wasn't he?
Mary, get me some coffee. Half and half, 3 sweetened lows. In a real cup, not one of those paper or styrofoam things.
If you show a moment like that, it's got to be more to that kind of a situation. Why is he a precise man? Just, it went nowhere.
Yes, no, it went nowhere. The humour, I think, in White House Down worked quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got echoes of Die Hard in it as well, with the president losing one shoe. I thought that was a...
Do you think it was homage?
It was a homage. It was a subtle tribute. And then, of course, what's he going to do? He's going to get his Jordans, man.
Yeah. Well, that went to the sort of the personality thing, which
right?
was kind of cool.
It was good.
And it also has the ending from The Rock. The ending of The Rock is that Nicolas Cage injects his syringe into his heart to stop him dying from the poison.
Right.
And it's him with two flares on his knees, like, no napalm strike, no, don't do it.
Yeah,
and the guys are like, green smoke, and the fighters are often. It's the same ending.
Too.
This time it's
That
little
is
girl
so awesome.
with the flag.
Awesome. I wonder if it was the same director. No.
Oh, was it?
I doubt it.
An overall sense of story, White House Down was nicely balanced.
It was.
It had good setup. It had a good transition into the middle of the story, which I think is the bomb in the foyer moment.
Yep.
There's a hinge point in the middle where the bad guys learn about the video upload.
Yep.
And therefore they identify that the kid is a problem.
Daughter. Heightens the danger.
Yeah, that's
ups
right.
The stakes.
That's right. And then, you do have a point at the end where it looks like, all is lost.
Yep.
And then they come through in the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would definitely be putting Olympus Has Fallen last.
A long way last. In fact, I'd probably go out of my way not to watch it again. Yeah.
Which we did, but...
Yes, but for the service of review and of the art... We have taken this bullet. No pun intended. Yeah, okay. So.
Until next time.
God. Gotta cut that. Oh, God.
I was almost going to say, I'd give Olympus 1 dick.
Out of how many?
10.
Oh, Jesus.
1 dick out of 10.
1 dick and an
I
orgy.
give it 1 limp dick out of 10.
We got to cut that out.